Today we are going to make this trendy net dress, and I'm using a soft net for it and a combination of this Ankara. So I'm using 3 yards of net and 2 yards of Ankara fabric. But if you are on the big side, you can make use of 4 yards of net. So this part is the length. This part facing me is the length by 60, and here is the width of the net. So I'm going to fold it just like a triangle. Fold it this way. Bring the length to the width. Then I'm going to fold again. That is, I'm folding it into 4. Okay. And make sure this part is aligned, because this is the center front and the center back. This place should be very straight. The part facing me. From this pointed part, you are going to place your tape where your 7.5 inches stopped. Okay, and here is where my 7.5 inches stop. I'll make a straight line there. And here is our starting line. The neck width I'm making use of is 4 inches. You know, I'm cutting the back and the front together, and the neck depth for the back is 1 inch. While the neck depth for the front is 3.5 inches. My shoulder slope, 1 inch. Then from here, I'll take my armhole measurement, divide by 2. I have 8 inches. I want to make sure it's still 7.5. My armhole divide by 2. Then I'll curve it. My bust point is 11 inches. Then bust divide by 4, I have 9.25. Then plus extra 2 to 3 inches for the ease and sewing allowance, because you know it's a free dress. And I have here 2.5 inches. Then connect it to the armhole. And you take it straight down to your gown length. So my full gown length is 58 inches, and you know we are going to be adding Ankara fabric at the down part. So I'm going to minus my Ankara. I'll be using 20 inches for the Ankara and 38 inches for the net. So 58 minus 20, I have 38 inches. That is, the net part is going to be 38 inches, while the Ankara is going to be 20 inches. Okay, here is my 38 inches. And you mark it round. You are going to be adding ½ inch for the sewing allowance, okay, to join it with the Ankara fabric. Mark it round before cutting out. Because if you rule a straight line, it might not be equal. Before cutting out, remember to add your ½ inch here at the shoulder for sewing allowance. So I'm cutting out the front neck vest. So to cut out the Ankara for the down part, you are going to use the upper part to trace it out because the down part here is not straight. You have to place the Ankara underneath and trace this curved part before marking out your actual Ankara length. The net is on top now, so you are going to trace this curve, okay, before cutting out, before marking out your desired length. This part is the folded part, okay, the center front and the center back. This part is folded and the Ankara is folded into 4 because I'm cutting out the front and back piece together. So I place my net on top of my Ankara, then I'm going to trace out this curved part before marking out my actual length. Okay, here is what I have. So from this curved line here, that is where I'm going to start taking my measurement from. Like I said, I'm making use of 20 inches for the Ankara plus 1 inch hemming allowance. That is 21 inches. Make sure you add your ½ inch here because you'll be joining it to your net. For the back neck depth, I'm going to be slitting it a little bit because there is no zip on it. So I'm going to be marking 5 inches from here. So I'm going to join the front and back shoulders together. I'm going to use bias to pipe up the neckline, and I'm using an already made bias. You can make use of the net. You can cut out the net fabric for your bias. Use it to pipe the neckline. I piped the back slit first. I pipe it first. Then I'm going to finish up the neckline. I'll place my bias like this. ½ inch is out. Then I'm going to fold that ½ inch at the back before I start sewing, and I'll sew round, and I'll do the same for the other side. When I get to the other end, I'll leave about ½ inch, then fold it to the back and stitch. I've made the first stitch for my bias, so I've not folded it inside. What I'm going to do before I fold my bias inside to sew the last one, I'm going to attach my loop. This is my elastic loop. So I'm going to fold it here. Then before finishing up my neckline, are you seeing? Just in between the main fabric and the bias. Then I will fold and finish up my sewing. So I've finished up the necklines and I've added my loop. Here are the right side of the fabric. So if you turn it this way, and you are going to sew with 1/2 inch. So I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch. I'll do this for the front and the back. I've joined the Ankara to the net. So here is the back, and here is the front part. So after joining, you discover that the edges here are rough and it's showing because this is a transparent fabric, so it's showing. What you are going to do to avoid the seam showing is to fold this way and you top stitch it to the Ankara fabric. So I'm going to top stitch for the front and back, then join the side seams together. I've top stitched this part here and I've sewn the side seam. Next thing we are going to do is to draft out the sleeve. So here is our starting line. Then go down by 4 inches for my cap height. So my armhole divided by 2 is 8 inches plus 1 inch, and I have 9 inches here. Then I'll take my 4 inches here to go down by 1 inch. Then I'll start connecting from here. This part will be curved. You can use your free hand here, or you can use your French curve. When you get to this point, our 1 inch stops, then you start curving the other way to meet the line there, like this. So there are so many ways to draft out the sleeve. My sleeve length is 26 inches, but the next part I'm going to be making use of 14, while the Ankara will be 12 inches, okay? So instead of 14, I'll be marking 15 inches, 1/2 inch to join here to the shoulder, while the other half to join it with the Ankara. So I'll be taking 15 inches. 15. So I'll take exactly what I took for my armhole divided by 2. I have 9 inches here. So I'm going to be adding 2 extra inches to that 9 inches, and I have 11 inches because this is a bell sleeve. It's not a fitted sleeve. Then connect to my armhole. This Ankara fabric is folded into 4 also, and this part is the folded part. So you are going to place the sleeve folded part to the folded part. So I said the Ankara part is going to be 12 inches plus 1 inch for the hemming allowance, and I have 13 inches. Then I'm going to connect it like this. I'm going to slant it a little. I didn't know that my camera stopped when I was cutting out the sleeve. So this is what I have after cutting out. I left about 1/2 inch here before cutting out to enable me to join it with the net. Okay? So this is what I have. I'm going to join it to the net just the way we did for our dress and top stitch. This is what I have. So I've also hemmed the down part. So what I'm going to do next is to attach the sleeve to my dress, to my gown. Here is the final look of the dress. Here is the back. Have sewn my button. So why I won't be drafting the inner dress, you know it's a two-piece, but why I won't be drafting the inner one is that you can use any dress of your choice to wear this. You can either use a plain black gown to wear it, or you can use the Ankara fabric to sew a gown. Okay, so and I have some tutorials that you can sew and use it to wear this dress. I have a tutorial on how to make a bodycon fitted dress. I also have a tutorial on how to draft an off-shoulder bustier. I also have a tutorial on how to draft and sew a princess cut without joining at the waist. So I'll put the links of these tutorials on the description box.